People say, Tabor, why don't you do more farm videos? I can't hear myself. Can you hear me? It just seems like a lost cause. Got a hardy kiwi. This guy's still growing in. They like to grow a lot in the spring. Then when it gets really hot and dry in the middle of the summer, you know, long days, it's really warm, isn't necessarily raining yet, they get really depressed. They stop growing. And then as the end of July comes, they start growing again. So it's finally feeling itself. Indian radish is somehow doing all right in the middle of summer here. Like, this thing is freaking huge. These are fun because the bigger they get, you can see them pushing the soil out of the way as they fatten up. I planted these not thinking they would do anything in the middle of June because it's too hot. So I planted these basically as a cover crop thinking they weren't going to mount to anything for roots, but they're actually doing fine. I think the leaves on this one look terrible, but the roots are looking good. Bottle gourd, there's a very specific way you want to train and prune them so that they make a lot of female flowers and you get a lot of fruit out of them. This is a couple trellises of snake gourd and bottle gourd. So my job for the next couple of days is getting them all trellised and growing upward. Now that they're comfortably growing in. See, there's a bed of radish right here. I have let them go to seed because I want seeds. I picked all the radish, like took them out of the ground and sold them as radish, except for the ones that made really nice big roots and did not start going to seed early, because that's going to be radishes that are really heat tolerant, that are not going to set seed quickly, they're not going to bolt. So those are the ones I want to plant. Unfortunately, they don't want to go to seed, so you have to wait an extra long time for those. This is flowering tobacco. It smells really good. Moths like to pollinate these. The smell helps attract the moths. And these are seed pods. I don't know if you can see it, but there's just, the seeds look like dust. So it's just a fun little pollinator plant. And again, this is tobacco that's been bred for flowers rather than for nicotine production. So the plant looks really similar, but it's focusing more on flowers than leaves. Muscadines! We got, hang on. We got, I don't know if you can see them there, way in there, but we got some fruit right there. Cucumber! Here they are on the trellis. I got a few new vines tied up. This one's a little bit chaotic, but here you can see this one is obviously not going to make it. That one didn't get pollinated properly. As I trellised them yesterday, it was getting kind of dark, so I couldn't see everything. I didn't want to trim anything, but now I can see it, and it's not good. Bye! Cherry tomato. I like to grow these more than the beefsteak tomatoes because I just don't really eat the beefsteak tomatoes. And cherry tomatoes just tend to be healthier plants. It gets hot enough here in Fayetteville that tomatoes really struggle through the middle part of the summer, so I do what I can to just choose really healthy varieties. Cherry tomatoes tend to be that. We just had a tomato hornworm situation here, so I took care of that. Besides these cherry tomatoes, I had a few that the fruit just turned out to not be good, so I cut them out. You can have beautiful heirloom cherry tomatoes. They're pink with purple stripes, very cute, hard, didn't have any flavor, so I've cut those out. And what I've done is take these two that I really like and trim off the lower leaves and everything once they're spent, and then lean the plant over using the trellis. So there it is, it's still climbing up, and we just lean it over. That's kind of how they do it in the greenhouses. Obviously we're not in a greenhouse, but we're just doing what we can to keep these healthy. Trim off those lower leaves so they get airflow, and just keep leaning them over as they get taller. Got a couple hazelnut trees here growing to maturity, and a bed that we are cleaning up for fall planting right there. Brown cherries. These are a plant related to tomatillos. You can see they've got the little, come on. They've got the little lanterns, but it's smaller, and the fruit inside is yellow and sweet. Ground cherries. Good. And they call them ground cherries because sometimes they drop. And the cool thing about that lantern is they will stay fresh in there. So you can pick them up off the ground, and that's why they call them ground cherries? Question mark. The figuring is upon us. I'm looking forward to some fruit. Put this net up yesterday. Put some sticky wrap around the trunk to keep the ants out, and we should have some nice figs. We got the raspberry patch right here. It needs some work. It always needs a little bit of trellising and pruning. We've got, you can see, whoop. Oh, it's getting too hot for the camera. It's it's getting steam on the lens. Anyway, yeah, we've got just like a ton of raspberries coming in for the fall. Sirens.